Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. If you've seen my Instagram post, then you've seen that today I was going to talk about the day that I met my dad for the first time after 20 years. So we're just gonna get right into that. It's a little crazy, but okay. So to give you guys a little background, my dad was abusive to my mother, and so she left when I was about 2 or 3, and then I met him for the first time when I was 22, I believe. 22. I'm 28 now. You guys are gonna think I'm lying with this video, with this story, because it's so crazy. But I just want to put this out there, like, this is how the world works, and like, if something's meant to be, it'll happen. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so at the time, I was 22. I was working in a foot action store in Parkchester. I had a manager. His name was Jonathan, and I love him to death. He would talk to me. He would always try to like find out, like, family history. Like, you spend all day and all week with somebody, try to get to know them. So he kind of knew, like, my father was abusive. He's not really in the picture, and all of that. And you'll know why I'm telling you this, but he knew kind of like somewhat of my background. I was kind of just with my mom, and she was a single mother, and all of that. So I'm there and I'm working, and me and my boss, Jonathan at the time, we're having a conversation, and we're kiki, haha, whatever, just laughing. And when customers come in, we stop talking, we go help customers. So whatever. A guy walks in, you give them a minute, but I don't know what I was doing. I think I was checking shipment at the same time, and he went to go help the customer, so I didn't really pay much mind to it. But I was working in Parkchester, I'm checking in shipment, and then we're laughing as I'm doing it, as he's helping customers, in between customers. And then I just happened to like look up, and the guy that he was helping is walking out of the store. And we were in the middle of a sentence, like a whole conversation, and I literally just stopped and looked at the guy. And I'm just like I didn't even know how to react. I was just like, something about it was weird. So then my manager's like, yo, he noticed like something on my face, and he's like, yo, you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, we were just laughing and now you're so serious. Like, what happened? As the guy's like walking out or whatever. And I just turned to him and I was like, I think that's my father. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I think that's my dad. And he's like, you're lying. No, he's not. You serious? And I was like, I'm serious. And he's like, I'm gonna go get him. So I'm like this, I'm stressed. Like, what if it is? What if it isn't? Like, my whole life, since he wasn't around, I thought about that day when I would meet him. And I always thought I would react like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit, you're a deadbeat dad, daddy issues, as people call it. Like, why didn't you do better? How could you do this to our mother? Like, so many things go through your head when you have a parent that's not there, and you always wanted to have that conversation. So I was really nervous. I didn't know what to expect. So anyways, he goes outside. He stops the guy. He's like, hey. And I hear him because, he's literally right in front of the store. But he's like, hey, do you know a girl named Eliana? And he goes, yeah, that's my daughter. And he's like, you just walked right past her, right? And he's like, what? So then he's like, come in, come in. So he calls my father in to the store, and the guy walks in and he's like, Eliana? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, wow, it's been so many years. Like, how are you? And like, he just went on. I have a photo from that moment, because as soon as he walked in, my manager's like, hold on, get together. I want to take you guys a picture. So I have a picture of that exact moment from when I met him, before like we started getting into the conversation and everything. He was in the store probably like an hour, and we spoke, and I couldn't get a lot out because it was so many emotions at the time. Like, I was angry, I was like surprised, I was nervous, I was scared, like a bunch of emotions at the time, and I just didn't know how to process it. So like, what he would ask me, oh, how's your sister? I would return, like I would answer him back with like one word answers, because I still had my guard up. Like, where have you been all my life? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm not saying it like we would have had a great relationship either, because there's things outside of us, outside of him abusing my mother, that I'm not gonna get into, that I still don't forgive him for. So, you know, bitter, angry, I had so many emotions. He was asking me like, how's your mother? Did she remarry? Did she have any more kids? Like, you and your sister, are my only kids. I never remarried. You know, he's on SSI because he got hurt on the job, working in the train station. I don't know, some shit. And he just, you know, he was asking me about my life. What have I done? I told him I had a daughter, that I wasn't living with my mom anymore. I was living with my fiance now. So my daughter's father, Carlos. And, you know, all of that. And we spoke for like an hour, and then he left. And my manager at the time was just like, he left, you know, like, he was like, oh, can I get your number, blah, blah, and I still had, like, my guard up. I'm like, I'll take your number, because you're not about to call me. Like, when I'm ready to talk to you, I'm gonna talk to you. So, I got his number, and now he knew where I worked. Whole point of the story is, I didn't see this guy for 20 years. And then once he knew it was me, once he knew where I worked, we exchanged numbers. He would, I think I called him once, so he saved my number or something. So he would call me all the time, leave me voicemails. And there would just be times that I see the phone ringing and I'm just like, nah, I don't feel like talking to you. Or like, I just don't feel like getting into that. Or like, you know what I'm saying? And when we did talk, he did apologize, and he did explain he wasn't on drugs anymore. He's been clean for 20 years. I guess after my mom left, he got clean because he was on coke. But yeah, it was just crazy. And as soon as he left, like, I just turned around and I cried so much, like, to the point I couldn't even stop. I was in front of my manager, and I couldn't like explain to him how I felt, because it was a lot, you know. Even now, just talking about it is crazy, because like, things are gonna happen if they have to happen, you know, to make you the person that you are. And I feel like it was meant for me to meet him, because God was telling me, like, you know, you have to learn to forgive sometime, you know. And it took me a really long time to forgive him, but I did, you know. Sorry. It took me a long time to forgive. But I feel like not holding on to the anger and not being so angry all the time just made me a better person. And in reality, like, I guess it molded me to be the person that I am today. But I am a very forgiving person, because if I could forgive my father after 20 years, you know, people make mistakes, but it's just crazy. I feel like, what are the odds that my father walks into the store and then I haven't seen him in 20 years. I don't even know what he looks like. And I knew it was him. It's just insane. Like, people say I look just like my dad, but in reality, when I seen him, he doesn't look at all like the person that I remember when I was a child. You know? And it's just crazy. Like, you can't go through life being so angry. And if you go through things, everybody learns in their own way how to process things, you know? And I'm gonna be honest, like, my fiance helped me so much with, like, growing up, and my daughter obviously changed my life. And when I say that, I'm saying, like, I had so many reasons to be nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been through a lot of shit in my life where I should be a crackhead. I should be a fucking prostitute. Like, people go through shit and they don't know how to process it, or, like, just put it in the past, or, you know, go through it, that they end up making really bad decisions. And I say, like, my daughter saved me, because I felt in a way I was kind of going down that path. Like, I didn't want to go to school. I would cut school. I would smoke weed. Like, I wasn't fucking. Like, I wasn't a hoe. I would just, that was my way of escaping, like, what I've been through, and, like, processing it that way. Like, I didn't really have a father role model in my life. So, you know, when you don't have that, like, girls do grow up with daddy issues and other issues on top of that. That's why when I say, like, my best friend has both her parents and they raised her together, I'm like, not that I'm jealous, but I wish, like, that was my life. Like, people don't understand how lucky they are. And she understands. She loves both her parents, you know. But, you know, and I think that's what made me such a good mother, because I seen all the mistakes that my parents made, and I didn't want to be that. I wanted to be better. I wanted my daughter to have a better life. You know, like, and that's what should happen when people have kids, but most times it doesn't. Sometimes people take a little time to mature and, you know, go through their own shit to learn. But it sucks, because if you already have a kid, they're watching you, they're seeing, you know, what decisions you make, how to react to things. Like, that plays a part in who they become when they grow up. Well, anyways, sorry I got all emotional and shit, but that shit was crazy. What the fuck are the odds that my father walks in to a store that I'm working in at that moment, on that day, at that time? It's like that shit was supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? And it happened for a reason. So I'm not going to say we have the best relationship. After that, he would call me. I wouldn't answer. If I wasn't ready, like, I would just, you know, it takes time. It takes time. You went 20 years, not even a fucking happy birthday, not even a card, nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it takes time. But, you know, sometimes he calls. I'll answer the phone. He'll be like, how you doing? Where you working at now? So he was keeping tabs on where I worked. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't want to die and wonder, like, I wish I would have forgave somebody, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or just have that guilt, or they pass away, and then you're like, damn, I could have done something different, you know? Maybe it would have helped me. But anyways, that's my story about when I met my dad 20 years ago. Well, after 20 years. And it's just crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry I got all emotional and shit. It's not an easy, subject to talk about, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And take something from this video. Bye.